Hi, so welcome back. We're doing another pick a card reading today. If you are pile one, then this is your card, or rather, this is your card if you are picking pile one. For pile two, and that was the six of coins. For pile two, we have the seven of coins. And for pile three, you have the four of coins. So the timestamps are down below. Just find a number that you chose and click on over to your reading. Hi, Pawan. So this is your reading if you chose the six of coins. And it's interesting because the cat in this card actually looks kind of like a little bit of like a gentleman, sort of like an entrepreneur, but an elderly, sort of well off gentleman. And I find that interesting because in the intro, I was saying, that since all of the three piles are all minor arcana, all pentacles, it's an interesting pattern that never happened before in any reading I've done. And I did mention that the financial markets are unstable right now. And so there might be some of you that are actually in the, investing in stocks and investing your money in different ways. Maybe you're thinking about, is it a good time to take out a loan? Maybe you're thinking about, is it a good time to kind of maybe take out stocks that I have in a certain country because of the different, let's just say, like, alliances are really changing in real time right now in the world, and it's kind of like tectonic plates in terms of the international stage. So some of you might be kind of thinking in that sort of way. But let's look at the reading first and get more before we delve too much into it. So I'm going to set that aside right here so you can still see it. Okay, so for pile one, Spirit, what is this reading about? Let's just get a general idea of the topic. Thank you. Okay, you have the Fool. It did come out in reverse, so I'll keep it here. Another one. You have the Eight of Wands in reverse. I'm going to be looking at it up, kind of what's it called? It's going to look upside down to you, but at the same time, it's right side up because it's reverse. I hope that makes sense. I'm a little jumbled today. Anyways, let's see. Oh, you know what's so interesting? The Fool and the Eight of Wands. So I read reverses in the Marseille system and uprights in the Rider-Waite-Smith system. And the Fool is here. It's still about taking chances, but it also can be more of a cautionary sort of card. And the Eight of Wands talks about an abrupt ending to some kind of project, something that you maybe were going to work on for a longer time, and suddenly it kind of just comes to a close unexpectedly. And then the Judgment card came out upright. So I'm going to put Mr. Fancy Pants over here. Let's get one more. One more card. Oh, wow. Okay, so the Temperance and Ten of Wands in reverse came out together. Okay, so I'm putting them here. Let's see. Yep, they're all in the view. Okay, Spirit, so what is this reading about? Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's random that I started talking about financial markets in the beginning, and then there's risk taking and sudden abrupt stop to some kind of project right next to each other. It feels like this reading might be about making decisions to maybe stop something you started recently or stop before you start, sort of. Um, or even just like thinking about whether or not you should be taking risks right now. Um, yeah, and judgment here. I mean, usually I read judgment in the sense of the actual card itself, like, resurrection, things coming back from the dead, some kind of transformative, abrupt shift in perspective, things like that. But here, judgment has two candles, and it's reminding me of, the Two of Wands and the Two of Swords. It's just making me think of twos in general, how it's about, do I go this way or do I go that way? It even makes me think I'm seeing the Chariot card in my mind's eye, where it's, do I go left or right? So I definitely feel like that's on topic for a lot of you. And then Temperance reverse is about what's the very specific and exact right thing for me, with Ten of Wands reverse here being, I have gone to a place of being overwhelmed, overworked, burnt out. Like, this isn't warning you about burnout. This is burnout has happened. And it's interesting because you have two candles burning here. It makes me think of like burning the candle at both ends, sort of thing. That's so interesting. All right, let's get more information. I want this deck. Okay, so if all that sounds like stuff you've been going through, thinking about, then this is your pile. If not, please do pick another pile or another reading, because if that's not, it's very specific, so if none of that resonates, this is not your reading. So, Spirit, for pile 1, what would you like to tell them? What would you like to reassure them of? What is the message here regarding these topics that you've brought up? It might not be a coincidence, but I was the most like scattered and sort of unable to start, and had to kind of start over and over again before I could finally film today, out of all the readings I've done recently. So I don't know if a lot of you are kind of scrambling, trying to reevaluate, reroute right now. Okay, for pile 1, what message do you have? Interesting. Queen of Pentacles, upright. Kind of sideways, but still it was upright in my view. So. The Fool reversed again. Okay. Judgment. The Hierophant, upright. And Temperance reversed and Ten of Wands reversed. High Priestess reversed. Okay. Can you clarify Queen of Pentacles? Yeah. So Queen of Pentacles here is talking about, she's looking right at her coin. I'm going to show you. She's looking right at that coin. She is definitely focused on what she wants to do with it, where she wants to put it, what she wants to invest in, and she's not trying to make any rash decisions right now. What's the Fool reversed? Wow, the Lovers. I can't show you that on camera. Let's see. The Lovers. Yeah, the Lovers is about making a decision, deciding which way to go. So you might be considering taking a chance right now, but you also don't want to make any stupid decisions, is like how it feels, because the Queen of Pentacles is very much, if we are talking about investing, just to make this easier as like a metaphor, analogy, whatever, she makes, so grounded decisions. And the Knight of Wands is very much the opposite of that. He's the fastest knight, or is it the Knight of Swords? I never remember which one's faster, the Knight of Swords or the Knight of Wands. I don't know why, but it's one of those things where it's like, no matter how long I've been doing this, I cannot get my brain. No, the Knight of Swords is definitely faster, just from the imagery. That's interesting that I kind of went through that. It makes me realize that a lot of you might be kind of considering taking a chance that you're not used to taking, but you're kind of telling yourself, well, it could be more rash, or even like, or is that spirit telling you that? Yeah, I just got a yes. I was like, is it spirit telling you that? And I got the ace. Aces are yeses, very, very obvious yeses. So spirit is saying, like, whatever chance or whatever move you're trying to make right now, it's not nearly as risky as it could be. Like, there is a level that is much riskier in terms of like what you're thinking about doing, that, and like you're still not doing the most risky thing. It's not like a conservative choice, but like there's definite and very, very, very clear reassurance here that whatever you're considering, it's not as risky as like it could be. Okay, what's the Hierophant? The Hierophant, we got Four of Cups reverse. Interesting. Have you been doing some spell work or meditation, intention setting regarding this? Because this is Jupiter, fourth sphere. Cups is the spiritual work, the internal work, the work that affects everything in your physical world. And with the Hierophant here, and the two candles behind it, it kind of looks like spell work. So I think there's some kind of callback to either some intention setting, some prayer, some spell work, whatever way that you connect with your ancestors, guides, your inner self, your guidance especially. There's something here asking you to recall that, because have they been working? Yeah, Page of Wands. Okay. I asked if you've been working if you've been doing some kind of like intention setting, prayer, spell work, whatever you want to call it. And I got the Page of Wands. So it feels like you might be starting to get into this, or you might not have been doing this for very long. So maybe you're not super confident about it, which would make sense why this reading would come up then. Okay, why is the High Priestess reversed here? I have a very good idea of why, but let's just get one card to clarify, to confirm. Because the High Priestess reverse is talking about exactly that you set some kind of intention, that you put some kind of seed into the ground, and you're being asked to trust that it's going to sprout, that there's going to be a positive outcome for you. But you're asked not to like worry about it or to try to figure out like, is it coming? Or it's like when you put a seed into the ground, you don't want to dig it up before it has a chance to grow its roots and really take hold and then sprout forth through the earth. So it's about waiting, being patient with whatever manifestation, whatever intention you set, whatever is coming back to you that you set out, that you put out into the universe. This card is always here when it's like, that's on its way, that's in the works, but you need to be patient and you need to not get in your own way. Like, don't kind of doubt your own work that you've done. Like, you've done it. Go back and look at what you've done. Remind yourself, hey, I worked on this, and now it's time to let it go. Because I feel the need to say this when it comes to any kind of manifestation work, whether you're doing it kind of intentionally or just like casually, sort of just setting out intentions and seeing what happens. It's the process is very strange, but it's important to really want something and then to just let it go and be indifferent about the outcome. That's not easy. That's easier said than done, but obviously, it comes with practice. But can you give us one more, Spirit, for the High Priestess reverse? Three of Swords. Wow. Why Three of Swords? That's unexpected. Oh. Is it lack of confidence? Okay, I asked if you're having maybe a lack of confidence in this, and I got the Five of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. Okay, yeah. There's a lot of worry here. Like, I don't feel, if you're in the Five of Pentacles, then again, like, this isn't really your reading, because I don't think you should be kind of like taking risks right now with finances and things like that, or like, investing. If you're in the Five of Pentacles, if you want to invest, you need to have your savings down packed. So if you're here and you don't have savings and you don't have like a cushy amount of money to fall back on, solid, like, sort of grounded things that you can fall back on, then this is not your reading. This is for somebody who's very like worried. And this, I feel like this is coming out to, again, because that reassurance came out really quickly, right? You might be worried about some kind of investment that you made. I'm gonna look at this my way now so that I can sort of like read for you better. But yeah, it's almost like I don't know what's gonna be the outcome, because there could be so many. This could go so many ways. And the Death reverse is very much talking about you need to just immediately put a stop to that. Like, it's kind of like it's sort of a warning, but a friendly word of advice rather than a warning, because warnings just sound so serious. But it's more like, hey, snap out of it. We need to stop that now, because this is not a real problem. This is something that the mind is creating, and we need to be aware that the mind is creating this, because it's not what's happening in reality. And we don't want to be there worrying about this, because again, we need to just let this go and work on trust. And so if you are still here and this is your message, whatever you're working on, you need to work on faith. Okay, faith in yourself, faith in the work that you're doing. And especially if you don't have faith in those things, in yourself and what you're doing, your skills, you need to work on that connection with that higher power that is connecting you through your higher self to to magnetize whatever you're bringing into your life, because there needs to be trust here. And if that's what that feels like it's wavering a lot, and that's okay. Okay, like I said, that's probably the hardest part of this stuff. So if that's what you're working on, then just know, like, hey, like, we get it. It's not, there's going to be more practice. You have time to work on mastery. And right now, the advice is you didn't take as much of a risk as you think you did. And like, you may be really worried about, like, did I make foolish choices? Should I just kind of like stop and take things back and things like that? And it's very much sort of saying, like, let's take a beat, let's take a breather, and especially let's work on immediately removing these negative thoughts and remembering that that's what they are. They are thoughts in the mind, in the ego mind, the mind that is just ours, that isn't being assisted by this higher power, by spirit, by the source. And the source is we're here reassuring you. So those, those negative thoughts that are, worrying about this aren't the ones that are correct. It's, yeah. I asked for confirmation because I just wanted to make sure that I'm, giving you all, like, that I'm reading this correctly. And I got the Knight of Wands, which is so synchronistic for me because that's exactly what you were worrying about. That's exactly what it is. It's, I'm worried I made this rash choice, or I'm worried that whatever I did isn't working. I'm worried that maybe this was risky and I'm not used to this kind of thing. And maybe I'm used to making much more conservative choices with the Queen of Pentacles. I'm not used to taking a chance. I'm worried. This is meant to be here as a reassurance for whatever this is applicable for. And if this is your reading, you'll know what that is. And I'm looking at the time right now, and it's 4:43 p.m. So I used to do readings even, some years ago. Whenever I saw 4:43, it's always for years meant for me the same thing. And that is that you are being asked to just keep going and to like hold the vision, because this kind of like happy manifestation, this whatever you're bringing in, it's coming, but you need to like hold the vision. Like you need to be patient through this. You need to hold on and you need to keep going. It's very much like don't let looks deceive you. Don't let physical reality like deceive you and make you think that it's not coming. Like it is, it's on its way and everything is fine. It's just your thoughts right now are trying to steer you off track. And that's something that you're being asked to just be aware of, so that you can gently and kindly bring yourself back to center and remind yourself that that's not the truth. And the truth is that you are being guided and supported through this. And you can always ask for that guidance. You can always ask for reassurance. You can ask for signs of guidance and reassurance that you are going the right way. And remember, this is a process and it's a practice, and it's about building that language and that trust with the universe or whatever higher power that you're working with. So be easy on yourself. It's hard in moments of like kind of like world crisis, especially. I get that, and I've been there. So just be kind and easy on yourself, and know that these things happen, but it's a lot about our perspective and the way that we perceive it, and it's not fixed. It's going to, things always change. That's the one constant in life, is that things are always changing. So just definitely work on being kind, gentle to yourself, and especially saying no to those thoughts that are trying to put you down and tell you that, you're being rash or you made the wrong decision. Just notice that negative thinking. Notice those thinking patterns and take some time to just observe throughout the day how you are thinking and feeling about this, and remind yourself that everything is all right and as it should be, and that if you need further reassurance, just ask. And maybe this reading is part of that reassurance that you perhaps did ask for already, but you can always ask for more. You're never asking for too much. So that's what I've got for you, Pile 1. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you again sometime. Hi, Pile 2. So, this is your pile if you chose the 7 of Coins card. And it's interesting because it feels like it stands as quite a contrast to their last reading. I'm feeling like a very slow, methodical, fixed energy, but also kind of like a very calm one. Very like, even if you don't, I'm actually feeling like some of you might think you don't agree that you know what you're doing, but you do. You know more what you're doing than you think you are. So let's see what this reading is about for you. Okay. For Pile 2 Spirit, what is the reading about today? Before we get into the actual message, what is it about? that you want to tell pile number 2. Okay, pile 2. Let's see here. Okay, I got the Chariot upright. Which is so funny because there's, in this card, there's this cat that's above the car and not inside it. You notice he's just kind of floating about, which reminds me again of how I was like, hey, you know what you're doing more than you think you are. And this cat's like, I'm not even in the car that is moving. Like, I'm not, who's behind the wheel? It kind of gives that energy immediately. Let's see, I'm gonna move this guy here. 7 of Coins. I hope you can see that. Yeah, I think so. Okay. What's the message about? And again, if that's not resonating, or yeah, just not again, but I said this in pile 1. If that's not resonating for you, make sure to, pick a different pile or a different reading. It's important that I'm making sense to you, because if not, then this isn't your reading. Okay, and that's important with pick of cards, to find our message, right? So, Spirit, what is this message about? Okay, I have the Hangman reverse. And if you've never seen my readings, I read upright cards in the Rider-Waite-Smith system and reverse cards in the Marseille system. Spirit, what is this reading about? The Queen of Swords upright. And one more, please. Interesting. King of Coins. Okay. Huh. I'm wondering if somebody is treating you unfairly here, because I have 2 characters. One of them looks a little shady. He even has like these, it looks like he has sunglasses, kind of shades on, but he doesn't. I think those are just his eyes, which is even weirder to me. And he's got this crown on that's very, I don't know, there's something very sparkly, very fancy about it. And this cat here, the Queen of Swords, she just seems more like down to earth to me. She even has these twigs coming out of her fur that I'm noticing, so that's interesting that I said down to earth. Because, it is Queen of Swords. It's not like we have the Pentacles here again. But the Hangman, the reason I say that is because the Hangman reverse in Marseille, the Hangman specifically means there is unfair treatment. One way or another. I don't know if it's like another person that is being represented by the King of Coins right now, but I'm going to get more cards to clarify. But the Hangman, there are 2 cards that talk about unfairness in the Marseille system, and one of them is that you perceive, or someone perceives a situation to be unfair, and the other one is, no, like there is definite unfair treatment here. This card is saying there is some kind of unfair treatment that is happening here, which is so interesting from what we talked about in the beginning, because if somebody is treating you unfairly, then, that could definitely coincide with feelings of self-doubt. Okay, interesting. Let's get more cards. And especially the feeling like somebody else is behind the steering wheel. It's like, for example, in dream symbolism, if you're having a dream where somebody else is driving the car and you're in the back seat, or, especially if you're not, if you're not the one, you're not behind the wheel, you're not behind the helm, if it's a message of feeling like you're not in charge of the direction of your life. It's a feeling of, I'm not able to make the decisions that I want because of something else or somebody else having power over the direction of my life, the unfolding of my life. What is your message for pile 2? Two of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, the Two of Pentacles is very much about weighing your options, making a decision between two, also like trying to find balance. So it's interesting that it falls on the Chariot because the Chariot is again choosing which way to go. And here, you know, you're feeling like you can't make those decisions for yourself. So, you know, again, if that's resonating, then this is very much your reading. Because this is a reading for somebody who feels like they're not behind the steering wheel, they're not the one that's able to make solid, definite decisions about their life and the way that it's going and which way they're gonna go. Spirit, what is this? What is the message that you have for Pile 2? Nine of Wands, the Wounded Warrior, on the Hangman reverse card, talking about unfair treatment. I mean, look, he's got bandages on his arm, his head, or just his head. Oh yeah, he's got white sleeves, but he's got a bandaged head. That's a pretty serious thing. And I think today the Sun and Saturn are both conjunct exactly while I'm filming this. If not, then they're within like 1 degree of each other. They're very much in the same place in the sky right now in Aries, and Aries rules the head. It can talk about problems with the head and injuries and things like that. So that's a very synchronistic little confirmational thing here. That's hugely confirmational that if you're doubting your perception of what's happening in some kind of situation you're in, especially with somebody who maybe somebody who has some kind of like material involvement with you, or even has, I just heard like the key to the castle, like maybe they have some kind of power over you materially, not just involvement but rather power. What's the Queen of Swords? Okay, Judgment reversed. Interesting. Yeah, there's this message is here to act as some kind of like a safe passage forward. Yeah, I just got a really strong bodily like confirmation. Like there's something here that is, whatever this message is about, or whatever this message is going to come out to be, it's here because you're being guided and you're being shown a safe passage. That's interesting. Okay, what's the King of Coins? Ace of Wands. This is so interesting. Okay, can we clarify Two of Pentacles? Thank you. Okay, Five of Wands reversed. Can you clarify please the Nine of Wands? Okay, so immediately like I got that there's been some kind of fight here or arguing, or even just if it hasn't come to that, there's definitely been tension and anger between people. You could be sharing a workspace. This could involve colleagues, but also because we have the King of Coins here, it could involve some kind of a boss figure. The King of Coins can be, you know, an entrepreneur, a boss, somebody who owns a business. So this could be somebody who's in a superior position to you. This could also be talking about like there's an environment that is unhealthy, that is unstable in some kind of way in terms of the collective that you're in. Spirit, is it the collective? Whoa, Three of Swords and the Boss. Okay, yeah, it feels more like something about management, boss, some kind of upper position. But yeah, there's definitely something about both. Yeah, interesting. I asked if it's more the boss, and I got the Hierophant, who, as you know, is a leader, is a important figure. It's the Pope, right? So they have authority. If you're asking, is it the boss, and you get the Hierophant, that's a very strong yes. That's a very strong and powerful confirmation. But also the Fool was talking about both. So there could be some people who are inexperienced around you that could be causing tension and issues. Let me just, yeah, it definitely feels work related, but let's, also I didn't have any Cups cards come out anyway, so let's just clarify the rest. What's the Nine of Wands, please? Yeah, it's all Wands and Pentacles. That's career and material matters. What's the Nine of Wands? And that could also explain why you don't feel like you're able to like make the decisions on where your life is going, like somebody else is making those decisions for you. If you feel bound to some kind of a workplace that is, limiting you and your life direction in some way. What's the Nine of Wands? Okay, we have the Queen of Cups reversed. Notice how I just said there's no cups, but in the Marseille, the Queen of Cups is talking about nurturing that inner environment through some kind of therapeutic practice. Usually this can look like going to therapy or doing some kind of internal processing of your emotions, meditative practices that talk about gentle sort of nurturing of, the inner child, things like this. And it's right by where it shows that there has been hurt, there has been wounding, there has been unfair treatment. What's the Judgment card? Judgment reverse. Six of Wands. Again, that was remember that Safe Passage card, and you have this Victory card clarifying it. Again, it's confirming that they want to show you a safe passage. They want to show you a way toward victory. What's Ace of Wands? Five of Cups. Hold on one second. Let me clarify something. Okay. Yeah, so you might be feeling trapped in some kind of place where it's like somebody else holds the power, like the keys to the universe, the will. Yeah, exactly. The way to your victory. These cards clarifying as well. And it feels really clear about that. But what is this safe passage? I feel like I have to get another deck for you. I didn't have to do this for the other reading. I'm going to get this one. Yeah. Yep. I know which one I need. It got so dark, I hope you can see. Yeah, it looks like it got so dark so quickly in your reading. Maybe that's how you're feeling about some kind of situation you're in. Maybe things just like suddenly took a turn for the worse. Or not suddenly, but very quickly at least. What is this safe passage that you are trying to point pile 2 toward Spirit? Please, can you be clear about what you're asking them to do or how you're guiding them through this unfair situation? Thank you. Pile 2. What is this safe passage? Nine of Swords reversed. The Emperor reversed. Queen of Pentacles, upright. Page of Cups, upright. Interesting. It's weird because you again had a queen land on a queen and a page land where the king is, and those are the only 2 court cards here. Yeah, Other than the Queen of Cups reversed, but I'm not counting her as much because she's not talking about a character. The upright ones are talking about characters. And I think the fact that there's the Nine of Swords here reversed saying, there's definitely, okay, let me back up. I know what I want to say, but it's like I want to say it so it's all coming through so quickly that my words aren't catching up. These two cards, they came out reversed for you, okay? And the 9 is the moon, and the swords cards are mental conflict. Okay, I'm gonna put them upright for you so you can see them in case you want to look at the picture a little bit closer. The Emperor reverse, again, reverses I'm reading as Marseille. In the Marseille Tarot, the Emperor is talking about connecting to that inner leader. What kind of leader do you want to be? Which is so interesting because it feels like you're not feeling like you're behind the wheel. You're not at the helm of the ship. You're not steering where to go. And this card is here asking you to let yourself be guided, because when you are guided internally by something that has the answers, by, whatever you want to call it, source, the universe, spirit, that energy that is here trying to show you a safe passage through a situation, is asking you to listen to it internally, to tune in, quiet your mind, and cut through those worry thoughts, and to calm your body, calm your mind, and to really connect with the voice of peace, the voice of guidance. This is a very important message, and I really need you to kind of because I've had this exact situation in my life 3 years ago, and this exact message came through. And it's very important that you trust that, because it's very hard to trust that when you're in this state of worrying, when the moon is magnetic, your worry thoughts are creating more worry. They're magnetizing more worry. So it's important to bring awareness to that process and to instead work on breathing, for example, doing breathing techniques, working on relaxing your body and relaxing your mind in order to tune in to what the guidance of peace and calm is. Because the more peaceful you are, the more powerful you are, the more you're connecting to that source of peace, which is also that source that has your highest good in mind and is intelligent and is showing you which way to go. What it's trying to tell you with this, and this is very important because I just got goosebumps, and I was really excited to get to this part, but I had to preface it with what I just said. The Queen of Pentacles landed on the Queen of Swords. You are no less than what you're being shown as. The Queen of Swords is very smart. She's very pragmatic. She's very to the point. She can and will put up the boundaries that she needs to. She just needs to right now believe in herself, because that's what this reading is trying to say. Because this King of Pentacles is not, whatever this power is, this doesn't have to be one person. It can be a board of trustees. It can be, several CEO positions. It could be whatever, upper management. It could even be, somebody that, like a partner that you work with that's, kind of has the financial final say in, let's say, your mutual endeavors, and therefore it's kind of like a company, right? They're a Page of Cups. They're not superior in any way, okay? This was really important placement, because this person is not a very mature person. This person may look like, or these people, this energy may look like it's greater than you, because it has some kind of power in the material world. But that does not mean that they are superior to you, nor that they get to control where your life is going. Let me just... Okay. Do you want to clarify something about the Page of Cups? Yes, they want to clarify about the Page of Cups. Specifically, because I asked, is that everything? Is that what you want to say? And I got the Page of Cups reversed, and I asked, do you want to clarify the Page of Cups? And I got the Fool, which is, for me, one of the top 3 strongest yeses in the whole deck. So what do you want to clarify about the Page of Cups, Spirit? Let me actually use this deck that I just pulled from. What do you want to clarify about the Page of Cups? Thank you. What do you want to say about the Page of Cups? 5 of Swords. No, 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords. Whoa. Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, yeah. Interesting. Really strong message here. But is that the advice for the parent? No, it's another person. Oh, okay. Are you describing them? Oh, okay, strong yes. Remember how I said Fool is my top 3? Judgment, Fool, and World are my 3 strongest yeses. And I got the Judgment when I asked if they're using the 8 of Swords and the Queen of Swords reversed to describe them. Notice again, this is so cheeky. Notice again that you were described as the Queen of Swords and they're described as the Queen of Swords reversed. So, very much, they're not like you. It's so interesting. They want me to go into detail about this. And one of the cards, again, they used was a page. But so many pages out here. This person is not like you. There's a lot of do you see how in the 8 of Swords here, there's a storm? There's a huge storm here. This is a very different kind of 8 of Swords. Oh, interesting. I just got a message. Dropped that message while I was saying that. What does it say? Okay, I accidentally interrupted the video with that, but I got a message about dental roots, so it makes me think of what's the root of the problem. The Queen of Swords reverse, as in the Marseille system, since that's how I read the reverses, the Queen of Swords is nurturing because the queens are nurturing and the swords are mental conflict. She's nurturing mental conflict. This person likes to gossip. This person wants to indulge in negative thinking. This person welcomes things like judgment of others, unfair judgment of others. And with the 8 of Swords, it's saying that the root of the problem is that this person has a lot of mental conflict and insecurity. They have a lot of worry. They have a lot of feeling of stuckness. They do not have a healthy state of mind. They do not have a healthy inner world. Far from it, actually. And let's see. Yeah. I asked if 6 of Cups here is always my card of that's the exact right thing. That's the exact specific thing. I was asking if the pages were brought up in order to sort of in a pointed way, in order to describe this person just kind of isn't very skilled or very far along, very advanced at the things that they do. And if you notice, we had the Page of Pentacles, we had the Page of Cups, we had another Page of Cups. I mean, that's right. It's yep, that's exactly it. This person is not, I don't know why I want to say excuse my language, but I want to say they're not hot shit. They, especially because of this King of Pentacles that came out originally that I was very suspicious of. It's all glitz and glam, but it's that card you might see in some readings from a oracle deck that says all that glitters isn't gold. That's exactly what it makes me think of. And I think you'll get that, not the physical world is not all that it may look like or seem from appearances. And this person really may appear a certain way, but they are not as advanced or far along, and they're certainly not very skilled, capable, and they're certainly not able to overpower you just because they have some kind of materially superior position does not mean they are actually, in any way more capable, thoughtful, or intelligent or skilled than you are. And I feel like I just said a lot. And was that the point? Is that to shift the perspective? Okay, you want reassurance. Yep. They also want to, wow, I just got the biggest chill down my leg as I'm about to say this. That wasn't all. They also want you to know that there's some kind of intention that you set or some kind of prayer that you sent out, a manifestation, whatever form of, spiritual work, prayer work, spell work, whatever you do that connects you to that invisible world, to your inner guidance. That is in the works. You have not been forgotten. And that's exactly what they want you to know also, aside from all this, is that there is safe passage because you have been doing some work. It calls back to that Queen of Cups reverse. Some of you might be doing a lot of internal work, even without therapy or through therapy, but you could just be, doing shadow work. You've been working on yourself in some kind of way, and that has shown up here. And that work, your inner work, your intention setting, it has set something in motion. So this card is here to reassure you that there is something positive on the way, but you don't need to know about it right now. But it will show up later once it's ready to manifest itself in the physical world. And that's all. Believe in yourself. You've had the Six of Wands come out at least twice before this already. So I think this is the third time that I'm pulling a Six of Wands for you. One of them is down here as I'm looking at it. But just, give yourself a little more credit. Do believe in yourself and in all the work that you've done, and remember it because there is evidence of that work and you're going to be okay. Okay? There's definitely some needed perspective shifting here, perhaps. Maybe some validation, some reassurance, confirmation. And there's also some positive, happy surprises on the way. So, keep going. And you've got this. And there is a higher power that is trying to show you safe passage through this. So, just come back to some things we talked about, like especially that message about connecting to that inner boss, inner leader, which is that inner guidance. Because if, again, you're a follower on that internal plane, the messages that you get in quiet meditation, when you relax your mind, you relax your body, the voice of peace, if you're following that, then you're a leader in the physical world. Okay, so remember that. That's a really important one here. And yeah, that's what I have for you, pal 2. Sending you lots of love and take care of yourself. I'll see you again. Bye. Hi, pile 3. This is your pile if you chose the 4 of coins. And it's kind of, this seems to happen to me sometimes with pile 3. I don't know if you're a pile 3 person in general in readings, or maybe you've seen pile 3 in some of my readings here, but it's happened at least twice now that I sort of sit with the card in the beginning of the first 2 piles, and then it's been happening that into pile 3 I just kind of jump into it. You might be the kind of person that likes to do things first before they research them. Like, you like to try things first before looking at the instructions, and then based on how things go or the mistakes you make, you adjust and you see if you even want to continue doing that thing. This is a very unconventional sort of 4 of coins, which isn't surprising to me because, you kind of might be an unconventional person. You might be someone that other people, like, you kind of do your own thing. I actually heard, it's like you play your own music. You don't let people tell you that you're wrong just because you're doing something in a way that maybe generally people would advise you not to do. It's interesting. It's a very like bright energy here too. Very sunny, very positive. A very positive outlook on life. I'm getting, some of you might have strong planetary placements in your chart in Sagittarius. That's really random, but that just came through. So we're going to see what the message is about today before we get into the message itself. So that if it's not resonating with you, what I'm saying in the beginning, then you know that it's not your reading and maybe you need to choose a different pile or reading. And if it is resonating, then you're in the right place. Okay, for pile 3, what is this message about? Okay, we have the Hermit reverse, and I read reverses in the Marseille Tarot system and uprights in the Rider-Waite-Smith system. Just so you know, for pile 3, what is this message about? Thank you. You have the 3 of Cups, whoops, upright. Pile 3, what will it be? Oh, I love this guy. Okay, I haven't used this deck in a while. The 3 of Cups is my three-eyed cat. Can you see that? He has 3 eyes. He's a little weirdo in the best of way. Like, he's his own person. He's different. This was always my card for you know, somebody who doesn't feel like they really belong with maybe the mainstream crowd. Somebody who feels a little out of place. Maybe you often find yourself to sort of stand out in a crowd. What is this message about? The Chariot. Okay, we're definitely talking about something regarding movement forward, which direction to go with the Chariot, and also the Hermit. The Hermit here is asking you to definitely tune into some kind of inner guidance at this time. There's this message about how there is always a light within you that knows the way through darkness, as in has a higher perspective and a bird's eye view of the situation that you are experiencing in the physical world and can see all the moving parts, some of which you are not currently aware of. So it's definitely asking you to remember that this guidance is available to you. This higher perspective is available to you if you tune in to your internal world, into especially kind of a more of a meditative state. Let's see, what is this message about? I got 2 cards there together. You have the Moon reversed and the 7 of Swords reversed. And the 7 of Swords in the Marseille is actually a very positive card because 7s are Venus on the Hermetic Tree of Life. And the Swords are mental conflict, so this is about pulling you out of mental conflict. The Moon is saying that you're not seeing something here clearly. So this reading is very much about pulling you out of some kind of mental conflict or clarifying something for you. Or that clarity is going to bring more positive thinking. Or even, you know, you can get a head start and work on whatever thoughts are coming up for you right now, and work on having thoughts of things that make you feel good, that make you happy, things you're grateful for, and that can jumpstart that process as well of bringing clarity of mind, of connecting you to the source of clarity of mind. Let's see. So I feel like Spirit got very mystical after pile one. Pile one was very like stocks and financial risks, and then we got to pile two, and halfway through we got very mystical, and pile three just kind of immediately went into that sort of thing. So I don't always read like this. That's just where the cards are. That's where the message is going. So I hope that made some sense. But I feel like with the way that you are already, your energy, the way you're presented to me, you're going to at least mostly understand what I'm saying, if not fully. Okay, what is the message for pile three? Maybe let's try to be a little concrete though. This feels very vague right now. Okay. For pile three, please. We claim divine clarity for pile three. What is your message for them? Whoa. Okay. King of Swords reversed. I said whoa because the kings in the Marseille Tarot are about taking ownership of something, whether it be a skill or ability. Well, with the sword suit, unfortunately, the king is taking ownership of mental conflict. So this is a person, we have a person here who's very much prone to conflict. It can even be a bully, and this could be talking about an inner bully, something like a thought form within you that bullies the self, which can often stem from early childhood guidance, being unhealthy, being bullied as a child. Things like this can stick throughout as patterns. That's just an example. I don't know yet. I'm going to clarify. But since that came up with the Hermit reversed, I'm wondering if this is your own tendency to put yourself down. But let's just see. Three of Cups. What's the message for pile three, please? Thank you. The Hierophant reversed. What's the message for pile three? The High Priestess reversed. What the? That's interesting. And one more. Okay, shall I keep that there? Okay. You have the Nine of Swords. And okay, thank you for, like, I like how that was flipped over so conveniently. The Lovers, which I have to cover up because of the nudity, which is fine as long as you're not on YouTube. And I have a card here that I didn't know came out. That was next to it. I don't even know how I got there. I don't know when it came out or anything, but it's the Two of Cups reversed. Okay, interesting. And let's just clarify this row of cards and then we'll get into it. That's the King of Swords reversed. The Fool. Is it upright or reverse? Okay, reverse. So you have the Fool. You know what, can you clarify please the Hierophant reverse? Two cards. Six of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Can you please clarify the High Priestess reversed? Thank you. Knight of Wands. And can you clarify the Nine of Swords with the Lovers and the Two of Cups reversed? The Moon reversed. What? We have that card here already, you see? It's the exact same card. Okay. Okay. Let me just clarify. Okay, so this is very much about the self. Okay. That's weird. So I don't know. This is sorry. What, yeah. Okay. Let me just clarify real quick. Okay. Yeah. With the cards that are coming out, I asked if this is about an unhealthy situation, because I got the Five of Swords and I got the King of Cups when in answer to that, and before the Knight of Cups came out to confirm that there is some kind of involvement with another person here. I wasn't sure because the cards are being really vague because they're in reverse for that, but it's almost like is this talking about another pair? That's what it is. Okay, I couldn't place it. The energy was like, it didn't feel like this was your relationship, but I asked if it was like sort of like a match made in hell. I got the Justice card, which is interesting in and of itself, but also it's connected to Libra, which is about relationships, ruled by Venus. All right. This is more than I expected to come out, and we're going to be here for a minute, apparently, because there's so much here. I don't even know where to start, but there's some kind of pair here at the forefront of a lot of things that you've dealt with. There's definitely somebody here is being identified as a bully outright. And with the Nine of Swords over the moon reversed twice, and there's this like advice to like really come back to your thoughts and notice what thoughts you're having, especially when there's two cards repeating that you're seeing a situation unclearly. And there's the Nine of Swords, like worrying, being up at night, worrying about something, not being able to sleep, sleepless nights, maybe even crying. And impatience with the self, because you got this card reverse. And so it's Marseille, which means twos and the cups, and that's talking about impatience with one's own development, impatience with like when you're thinking about when you're a kid and you're growing up, and I'm not saying you're a kid, but this is an example, just bear with me. When you're a kid, you're growing up, you kind of think about, well, who am I going to be when I grow up? What am I going to turn into? We often have those thoughts even as adults, kind of like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Like when I have this qualification, I'll feel good about myself. When I finish that project, I'll feel complete. When I create those artworks, I'm going to feel like I can present something about myself. That's what this card's talking about, is like that impatience with the self, not being satisfied with where you are yet and feeling like you should be further ahead than you are. And the fact that twice there's this card of you're not seeing things clearly is really, really powerful here, because when does that happen? When do you get the same card clarified by the same card in the exact same reverse positioning? That's really, really powerful. So I want you to know there's something really important here about the fact that you're not seeing clearly a certain situation, especially I feel like it has to do with worth, because when the Two of Cups reverse comes out, that's telling me that there's some kind of like you're not giving yourself enough credit, you're not being patient enough with yourself. And I don't mean this to be a lecture, I just mean you deserve to receive your own kindness, because I know that I read that energy correctly in the beginning. I know that's what I saw. Like, you are a person who is warm and positive, and like it feels like you're not fully giving that to yourself right now. And I almost feel like I have to really sit you down and tell you like, hey, you're a kind, wonderful person. And the things that these people, there's some weird, twisted, I don't even know what this is. And to be fair, I don't want to get into that energy. And spirit is even like I'm getting goosebumps all down my leg as I say that. So that's like this is not about them. This is that they're just here because spirit wants to say there's been some kind of bully in your life. There's been some like I have words for this that I don't want to say. Like there's just effed up, messed up people that you've dealt with. Um, and is that your reading that I mentioned that in? Oh, that was part two. Interesting. But it's that maybe that's just what's coming back up is like these people might have, showed up in your life because there may have been caretakers in the past that did not show up correctly in a healthy way. I think I did say that in your pile. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, there's some pattern here repeating, and it's not your fault. There's been difficult upbringing that's very clear here in some way. I don't know who this is exactly, but it could be a dad, it could be father figure, male figure, somebody you looked up to that was a masculine person that was supposed to be there as guidance and instead put you down. I don't know how it kind of played out exactly, but there's something repeating of a pattern here. And you didn't deserve that. You don't deserve the way that made you look at yourself and feel, because you're, again, you just have this wonderful, sweet, kind, warm, positive energy. And I love coming back to that Four of Coins in the beginning because it just makes me feel good to be around you. And it doesn't make me feel good that you're around or have dealt with these kind of situations and people, and I don't want to be around them myself. These are not to mention the energy got so muddled when these came out. It was like nothing was coming through. That didn't happen the entire reading. And it's such a strange experience when you're a reader and suddenly it's almost like you hit a wall and it's just silent. It's like these people made you question your ability to trust yourself, your perception of reality. It's like you suddenly were cut off from your intuition because of these people or whatever situation this is describing. Three of Cups here also, when you come back to the Rider-Waite-Smith meaning of the Three of Cups in kind of like negative relational patterns, it can talk about third-party situations. So it can talk about, people going behind your back, acting like they're one way, but they're actually another. It can be treacherous friendships, treacherous relationships. It can just be like people trying to steer you off your path because they're not secure in themselves enough to steer their own path and just lock it down and focus on their own way. It's like the King of Swords reverse here. These people, or at least one person here who's also influenced by the other or influencing the other, is a very foolish person. Literally in the Marseille, the Fool is not just about, sometimes you gotta take a chance. It's also a cautionary card of sometimes you gotta heed the warning. And it's like this person, for it to come out without King of Swords reverse, this person does not have wisdom with the Hermit reverse here. They're not following that inner guidance, that light, so to speak, which is the truth and clarity that you need in a physical world that is a manifestation of our thoughts, right? So that's coming back to, that mystical message here. Here you go. You had the Six of Swords come out with the Nine of Pentacles reversed, which I found interesting. It's it does feel like you've been moving on to a different chapter of your life on your own. And it's also it's better on your own because the 9 is the moon in the Tree of Life, and the Pentacles here, you're going to magnetize very positive, abundant, lucky circumstances to yourself by doing that. by moving away from whatever this is, whatever I described that you like, whatever that resonates with in your life, you're gonna be, you know what's funny? My cat, who out of all three of my cats, lived totally alone as a kitten outside. Like they didn't know where his mom or siblings were. He was just found completely alone. Like I don't know where he came from. He just jumped on my table. I don't know if you can see him walking around. So that felt really confirmational because he got very fortunate since being on his own. He ended up finding his way to his new family, which is me and two of his cat siblings. So there is something, yeah, okay, just lie on the cards. Great. All right, we got it. You want to make a big point about it. Thank you. So that feels very strongly like a confirmation. Animals are very connected to spirit, so definitely they often give omens and confirmations of that spirit energy. And you have the Knight of Wands here, which, you know, so first of all, let's back up real quick. That energy of going off on your own and really prospering in that way, it's under the Hierophant reverse, the Hierophant in the Marseille is saying there's some kind of higher institution. It could be, you know, the IRS. It could be some kind of like Social Security institution. Whatever like thing that you feel is in charge and makes higher kind of like decisions in the physical world, like it does not have the power of you that you perceive it to have. Like the ultimate power and the ultimate law is of the free will that you have, that is free to choose to follow that inner guidance, that higher power of spirit, rather than the supposed higher power in the physical world, which is not superior. So this is again saying like you are your own boss when you choose to go your own way and to follow the will of the soul, the reason that you came here, you know, the connection to that higher self that has your highest good in mind. And with the Knight of Wands under the High Priestess reverse, it's also saying that there are very good things that are coming when you choose to just be passionate and free and go after what you want. Okay. I want to see, it feels like there's something of like another message here, so I'm just going to grab another deck. What else do you want, Kyle? Well, that came out so fast. I had a feeling. Right. Follow the feeling. Eight of Pentacles is talking about really working on your own skills, nurturing what you like to do in the world. This could look like art. This could look like painting, cooking, writing, architecture, whatever your skills that you like, to your hobbies, the things, work on them. This is a time to really like work on those things and indulge in what makes your soul come alive. Indulge in the things that make you happy, that make you feel connected to yourself the most. What else? King of Swords. Really trust in the power of your own mind. Like you're mega sharp. I feel like that's an understatement. You're a person who just like you've got this. I feel like you already know pretty much everything that I'm saying. Like you could come to these conclusions on your own. But I feel like a lot of times when people really when people even like intentionally try to put us down and shake our confidence in ourselves, we can sort of like need that extra reassurance. And I feel like that's what this reading is here for, just to kind of validate like wow, as I was saying that. Five of Cups reverse came out. In the Marseille, Five of Cups is like a really awful card. The fives are Mars, and Cups, whew, Mars does not want to be there, and this is a very like negative place to be. So as I was just talking about like how like sometimes people really want to put you down intentionally and make you like question yourself. There are some shameful I said it in such a like judgmental, almost way shameful. There's no, but there is these people that you've dealt with that have messed with you in the past. There's definitely some. They have some ugly secrets. There are things that they're ashamed of. There are things that they may have even done things to you that you don't want to say out loud. There's just really nasty energy attached to that. I really don't like it. And it's such an insanely stark contrast to who you are, where you hold the sword of clarity and you have this very sunny, very self-focused in a positive way. Like, I'm just going to, mind my own business and work on what makes me happy, what I want to do in this world. And you're encouraged to keep doing that and to be confident in yourself as that kind of person, because again, like, that's a very good place to be. And that focus on what makes you, oh my God, these just came out, 8 of Pentacles again, and the Page of Wands. That focus on what brings out your inner child, that brings you alive. That's your main thing right now. That's where you gotta put your focus. That's where you gotta look to. If you're wondering what to do on the path forward, which I feel like there was some kind of, I was saying in the beginning, there's something about, you kind of contemplating the way forward right now. This is it. It's this exact energy, and that 8 of Pentacles coming out twice is really powerful. Okay, strong confirmation for this. It's saying what your inner child, what what makes that inner play spark, what makes you feel like you're lost in the moment, the things that you can do without getting sick of them, work on those things right now and build those skills and nurture that energy. And that's really going to put you on a very positive path, especially going off on your own, away from these people and situations. That's really going to propel you forward in a much lighter and more positive phase. It feels like you're kind of like peeling back some layers here, or like there are different levels that you're entering, okay? Different thresholds that you're crossing. So there's going to be a much more positive phase coming for you, especially when you focus on these things, and it's inevitable given your character. So these are just nasty kind of things that had to be dealt with, but you're definitely being encouraged to move away from them and to move out of the way from them and work on what makes you feel passionate and come alive, and to be patient. Be patient with yourself, your development, and your ability to make decisions moving forward. Is there anything else at all? No, that's it. The Queen of Pentacles was the card that said no, there's nothing else. And I just think that's a lovely card to end with, because she's just so cute and she's also like here just alone with her little coins, and she has this almost sadness about her, but she's also very much like just minding her own business, and she's very sweet and she's very pretty, and she's just kind of like maybe it's a kind of lonely road, but it's not the whole road. The whole road isn't going to be all alone. And just remember that there are going to be people that do appreciate you for who you are and are going to see that beauty instead of trying to put you down because they don't see their own. Okay? So that's what I have for you, Pile 3. Take good care of yourself. I'm sending you lots of love, and I'll see you again. Bye.